5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
The Geek Week in Review.
Hello and welcome back to the Geek Week in Review with me, Jacob's Toys, of course, the wonderful one and only SuperSorrell, and of course our friend Ryan Speaks Geek. Welcome back, Happy New Year, all of those things. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you all had a good Christmas and holiday period and all that stuff. As always, do check out the geekweekinreview.co.uk for all of the socials and that kind of stuff, and you can follow us all over there. So, how was your holiday period, gentlemen?
Bloody marvellous.
Bloody marvellous. I haven't spoke to you for 2 weeks, so we're not allowed to. Yeah, everyone had a good time?
Oh, yeah, really good. Just proper good old school family time, and I think it just needed that. Just chill, nothing like over the top, just good family time. Open some nerd stuff, watch some TV, eat way too much food, all the usual standard, stereotypical, awesome things about Christmas.
100%. A couple of people in the chat. Viz, how you doing? Hope you had a good time. Do I have the Amazing Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends 3-pack yet? No, I don't. I have got this Venom one though. Venom came in. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Yes, we are pleased to be back. Obviously, we missed last week. Felt a bit weird. Feels like bit of a break. First Sunday we've missed as well, which is odd. But being Christmas Day, it was, no one wants to watch that. So we're back here with the first show of the new year, 2023.
Oh, that's weird.
First show of the new year. It is really weird, isn't it? And we're going to take this opportunity to kind of have a look back at 2022 and just kind of talk about things that we enjoyed, we liked, and all the rest of it. And the way we decided to do that is a top 3. The top 3 going into 2023. How's that sound? So we had a look at figures, we had a look at movies, we had a look at TV, and then we're also going to talk about kind of our top 3 kind of WTF kind of moments. Andy, hello, Happy New Year. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Hang on. I got the memo about the action figures. I got the memo about the movies and the TV. I didn't get no what the fuck moment.
You did get the memo about Sorrel?
This is the problem. Everyone's got to read the memo. If you don't, and you don't get your TPS reports in on time, this is what happens. Yeah. This is why you got to get those TPS reports in.
Yeah. No, it's all right. We didn't do an individual list there. We just did, did all the rest of it.
To be fair, that's Ash's one. Ash's one is that his big what the fuck the moment is that he didn't realise there was a what the fuck the moment list on this episode.
That's it. Didn't even know. So let's jump straight into it. This is going to take up the majority of the time of the show, and obviously people can jump in the comments and give us their thoughts, feelings, and all the rest of it. What do you want to start with? TV, movie, or figures?
TV, because I think that'll be fun.
TV. Okay. What should we do? Our third, our second, and our first pick each? Or...
I'll be honest, right? So all my top 3s actually weren't in any kind of order because I couldn't rank them. It was just 3 of the best because I'm awful and apparently I love everything. So they were just 3 of the things I liked a lot. So I don't have an order. So okay. No order for me.
That is fair enough. All right, let's do it that way. Let's start with. Let's stay in the same order. So we'll go. How it looks on the screen. We'll go my one, then Ryan's one, and then Sorrel's one. Sound good?
All right, okay. Hang on.
Good stuff. Sorrel is the man in the chair, so he is loading up the images for us. So, top 3 TV. So, my third place pick was something. I know. I'm just waiting. I'm stalling. I'm waiting.
I started mounting to folders, and then I thought, I'll be all fancy and ready. And then
I'll have to say mine first, and then Ash will just have to get it up quickly. Giggity.
So which one's your third choice then?
My third choice. So, in all fairness, TV-wise, I feel that there was a lot to offer this year or this past year. I think with the rise of streaming sites like Disney Plus and obviously all the kind of Disney Plus exclusive stuff, as well as all the Prime stuff and the Netflix stuff, as well as Paramount Plus coming out as well. It feels like they're all really competing to have like the next big TV show.
Oh yeah.
And I've just realised as I'm talking, one of my favourite TV shows, none of us have mentioned, unless Sorrell did. So I'm going to wait till he gets there. So
We don't actually know Sorrell's list. But that's a good point.
I kept mine quiet.
in our little private chat. Me and Jake sitting there sending pictures, going, "Oh, God, yeah. I'm sure it's Ash, super sneaky, super squirrel. Nothing."
So I was spoiled for choice. So I kind of had a little think about, you know, what TV shows I enjoyed, TV shows kind of I looked forward to kind of tuning in to watch the next episode for, and that's kind of how I compiled my list. Let's have a look at these. I'm just checking out the. Miss Marvel was a disappointing show from Viz. See, I really enjoyed Miss Marvel. Didn't make it onto my list, but I did enjoy it. Joey One might be one of the bands these franchises love the most because I end up just enjoying almost all of it. Pretty much the same as us. We are very similar. We do enjoy a lot of it. Sorrel, as soon as you've got them pictures ready, I'm ready to go.
I'm ready. I'm waiting for you to tell me your third choice.
But can you not remember it? I sent you.
No. Yeah, I ain't got that in front of me.
Oh,
so your third choice will be.
Sorrel's going to pick it for me.
I'm going to pick it for you. Okay. I'm guessing it's going to be this one.
Here we go. Moment of truth.
Oh. Our survey says.
See if he see how well Sorrel knows it.
Share, Chrome, that one.
But you said you had it ready.
Oh,
it takes a second to come up. Because obviously the Jacob's got to click it. I'm guessing your third is going to be Obi-Wan.
My third choice. I'm going to put my third as the next one. Only reason being is because I really enjoyed it as a TV show. I did really enjoy it, but I don't know. It lacked something for me. If that makes sense. There was some really, really good moments in it. I really, really loved it, but I couldn't put it higher because it ended and I felt like I was still missing something. And this is one TV show that I didn't want to come away from kind of hoping that there would be a follow-up or hoping that there would be something else. Yeah. Does that make sense? We
got the cool payoff with Liam Neeson at the end, which I love. We got there to see young Luke. We got to see young Leia. I don't know. I love the fact the Inquisitors have been brought in properly now. We've got live action Inquisitors. That was cool. But I don't know, that whole side story with Reva just didn't need to be told. Really, it was like a very unnecessary thing, and like where they're going to go with that now. I don't want a spin-off story about Reva. I'm not that bothered.
No, it. Like I said, I really enjoyed it as a TV show. I was really excited, and there were some bits in it that were like that final fight scene between like Obi-Wan and Vader was just iconic. It was fantastic. But there were a lot of moments in it where I was just kind of like, I'm not quite sure what this is leading to. I'm not quite sure where this is going. Viz talking about the figure there as well, saying that the head sculpt doesn't really look like Ewan McGregor.
Every Obi-Wan figure to me has always looked like Noel Edmonds. I'm not gonna lie.
It is. It's various different house parties.
Jedi house party.
I don't know. And speaking of the figures, a lot of them are reduced now. A lot of them are in the kind of, the bargain bins and that. And I just think that there was a lot more that they could have done with the show that they sacrificed for trying to create new angles. And so much Star Wars is about kind of the new angle or the new storyline or how it leads on to something else. And I think that this was one show where they could have actually just gone, right, let's take all of these things that have happened in Star Wars up to this point and kind of answer some of the questions and all the rest of it. But yeah, so that was my number 3 pick.
I know you're number 2. Oh no, we're doing okay. We'll move to Ryan. Okay.
Yeah, let's do Ryan. Let's do Ryan's number 3.
Ryan? Which was your number 3, Ryan?
You're going to be forced to pick 3 now.
I've already got. I picked 3. I'm just working out which one I'm going to do first. Let's do Stranger Things season 4 first.
Oh,
Now, this is
good,
one of those
good.
weird things. Two of mine on my list, I had to double check they came out in 2022 because when you just sort of lose track of time and space, or like you've accidentally slipped into a different dimension, that kind of normal thing. So I really wasn't sure like if they come out. And I had to Google. I was like, because I really loved that. I was like, did it come out in 2022? Am I making that up? And I was looking. I was like, yes, it did. I really enjoyed it.
The problem with Stranger Things as well is that there was because it was
That's
split
not
into
the image I
two-
sent. God.
No, the image you sent were about this big.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not good with computers.
because it was split into two parts. It did feel like it was in two different years. So I completely agree with you on that.
But I really enjoyed it. I know
the-
a lot of people don't like, the problem is that after season one, everyone has something to moan about every season of Stranger Things a little bit more every time. But then I don't really know many TV programs that have got better every season they go on. But, to be fair, I really enjoyed this on face value, what it is. The problem is, I think if people start reading in too much to things, and that's as nerds, I know we like, as a nerd culture or geeky culture, we like to sort of really explore into things, and we like to have an answer for every little thing that happens. I think we've forgotten the whole the old what do you call it, the Tom and Jerry mentality, where you just got to kind of go like you're just watching it for entertainment. Of course, a cat would absolutely die if it went through a wood chipper; it wouldn't have it be a pile of smiley faces. But like you just kind of go, I'm just enjoying this for what it is. I'm loving the 80s vibes. I'm loving hearing the music I want to hear. I want the big set pieces to big bits of musical scores. I want some really cool and interesting characters. And we definitely got that with Eddie. Eddie became like the instant sort of super favorite of this season. It's just really cool things. I just had a really good time and I just wasn't disappointed. I know some people were, but I just wasn't. I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love the fact that they did that thing with the season where they gave us like so many episodes, then we had a little break before the final two. I like that because as someone who binge watches things, that made me actually slow down. So I watched it and I was like, oh my god, what happens next? I got a cliffhanger for once that I wouldn't normally have gotten with the series, so I really liked that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Mix just jumps into the chat. I don't know if you can see. He wants to talk about how Sorrell doesn't know anything about Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
What? I thought you would have been all over that.
Me and Mick were having a conversation earlier. We were on about Hitchhikers, and I'm like, I've never seen Hitchhikers. One thing I've never seen.
We'll do a special show just dedicated to Hitchhikers where we kind of educate Sorrell. So I'll tell you what, also, when it comes back to Stranger Things quickly, Viz, we will get to that in a sec, buddy, in the chat, don't worry. But when it comes to Stranger Things, I think that it's kind of reached that level of hype now, isn't it? Where, you've got so much sort of merchandise that goes with it. Like, you've only got to look at like the Hellfire Club t-shirts. Like, they were everywhere.
I've got one.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere. Like, they're still everywhere.
I went to Primark, got myself one.
Primark's got loads of Hellfire clothes in.
But it's, that you wouldn't have got that with season one. Like,
No.
that didn't happen with season one. Didn't happen with season two. I even earlier in the year, late last year, there you go. I went to see the musical, which is like a musical parody called
Stranger Things.
Absolutely incredible.
Was it?
Absolutely incredible, yeah. But that's a whole nother video. But it's all of those things, there's parody musicals, there's merchandise, there's
Secret cinema.
Secret cinema. People that have never seen it with clothes and Hellfire t-shirts and stuff. So it's kind of elevated to that level where it's just good.
When season one came out, I remember I had the shirt, but I got it from a Z box, and it said "Friends Don't Lie" on it. I'm sure that was season one. But at the time, I had no idea what Stranger Things even was when I got that shirt. It's only now that I'm like, it's a Stranger Things shirt. It's awesome.
I want to see Jacob in a Emma Frost Hellfire outfit.
Nick.
Wow, this
Nick,
show's got weird, man.
Nick, I told you, man. I told you I will send the pictures, but
Spectre by name and Spectre by nature. And I like that. Also, Andy was like, again, agree. Like, how have you not seen Hitchhikers, man?
Yeah. But no, like Stranger Things is definitely up there. Definitely up there. There's no two ways about that. Good pick, Ron.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. And so my third pick is.
Drum roll, please.
It was also Stranger Things.
Hey, oppa! That's why you had that image to hand.
So my favorite thing about it this season was I still watch it on YouTube this day because someone clipped it, and it's that whole scene with they're running around the house and the music's playing. And playing the not Enter Sandman, Puppet Master, and just Metallica music's playing. They're running around the house. It felt very 80s, sort of like Freddy Krueger inspired sort of thing. It was awesome.
That's a good point actually. Yeah, I never thought of it like that, but yeah, it's very sort of Nightmare on Elm Street-esque, nightmare-y. Sort of, that is, yeah. Oh man, that's shattered my entire universe.
Yeah,
it's such a good little scene. Just when someone's cut it down on YouTube to just that moment, and it's awesome. It just starts with him on top of Caravan rocking out with guitar, and it's just awesome.
Yeah.
Also, it got running up that hill into the charts again. Like, can we just appreciate that? Like, that just rocketed up to the charts.
People and the covers of that song as well, like the covers and the on TikTok, like all like the stitches and stuff. Like it's, yeah, man, that's cool. I don't know, as a product of the 80s myself, like I love anything that's got that kind of 80s nostalgia vibe. And Stranger Things is just full of it, isn't it? So
the bedding I have behind me.
Massive.
But I love the fact that my local game shop has become just full of people that wouldn't be there normally wanting to learn how to play D&D. And I think that's really cool that we've passed D&D on to another generation now. I know it's through Stranger Things, but the fact that they're picking up the guides and wanting to learn to play it, that's just awesome. I love that. I've got time for that.
That is cool. Just quickly to address the chat, Mick, I haven't got a price, mate, but I'm not an expensive man. Joby one's probably right there. Just pick something up I want. Toy Biz Iron Man. I'd probably go for a Toy Biz Rogue, to be honest with you, mate.
We are like honestly 1 cent like chat away from there being like a bidding war for this. This is turning into like one of those bidding things for chat.
Maybe we'll do a charity auction.
Yeah,
we'll do a charity auction one day. I'll even let you pick the kind of the poses and the backdrops and stuff. Right, my number two. This is controversial. There are going to be people that massively disagree with me on this one. But I'm sorry to say it, but my number 2 was She-Hulk.
Hey, no, it's a good show.
Is it? Can you see it? Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
A reason it's been controversial because a lot of people hated it. A lot of people hated on it. But there was one thing that happened in particular that just made it hit my top 3 anyway, and it's the first reference of X-Men in the MCU Marvel Cinematic Universe, like the first real, definitive kind of thing. We got Charlie Cox back, we got Yellow Suited Daredevil, we got a whole bunch of kind of side characters that were just brilliant in themselves. There were parts of it that were rubbish, like with everything. There were parts of it, every show has something where you're kind of like, oh, they could have done that better. I loved the robot at the end. I loved all the kind of the cut scenes. I loved all the breaking of the fourth wall. Andy, yeah, I do. But it's, but yeah, it just, I don't know. I'm a fan of the She-Hulk comics. I kind of enjoyed reading them as a kid anyway. And I just felt that it was really comic book. There you go. Look, Mick has said it. I kind of, there you go. Let's put it in. Very comic-y. Exactly that. Was just the first one that was kind of really comic booky. And yeah, I just loved it. And I got to the end of it really wishing that there was more episodes, because I feel that they could have done more episodes without oversaturating it.
Did it get a second season, or what's the deal with it? I'm really behind on like what's been given green lights, what's been cancelled, what's been set on fire.
There is a second season, yeah.
Oh, cool, groovy.
Yeah. The only, and I loved Wong in it as well. Wong was fantastic.
Wong
is like the Carl Urban of the Marvel Universe. He just pops up everywhere unexpectedly.
Yeah. And I also love the fact that the final scene, or the final episode, sorry, was so bad, but they kind of then just went back and kind of went, no, that doesn't happen. Like, it was just brilliant. It was brilliant. Yeah. So Connor in the chat there said that I'd say that this was my third favourite Disney Plus series, Miss Marvel and WandaVision. Yeah, it's very good. It's very good.
Awesome profile picture.
I still say that S.H.I.E.L.D. would be the perfect place for them to introduce Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, just because of the jokey nature of it. And imagine if he comes on and then suddenly he tries to swear and he's bleeped. Like, what the beep, what a beep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Viz said. I think Viz said earlier in the chat was like, imagine She-Hulk and Deadpool interacting in the MCU. Could
Mhm.
definitely see that happening.
Be awesome.
But it was definitely one of the only MCU shows of late that could have carried on for a lot longer without burning out, just because it was so kind of open and closed most of the episodes. So no, I think that they are. I think they are doing a second season. To be honest with you, Connor's just said it. I don't think they're doing a second season, but no, I'm sure I saw a video somewhere of them talking about season 2. I'm gonna have to look that up now and double check. The man in the chair is tapping away.
So everything gets cancelled, reborn, put on hold, but then rebrought back and then rebooted or something. It seems to be quite a wave of unsureness at the moment.
But at the same token, they could get away with not doing a season 2 and just introducing her now into the films. Like it was perfectly done in the respect that it didn't burn out. It gave us a whole bunch of cameos. They made light of the fact that they were giving us cameos.
So
it introduced the character so that if she now turns up in any film, she's gonna have a place.
The last update was from Kevin Feige himself on the 13th of October with Esquire magazine. And it says, at the moment, a second season of She-Hulk Attorney at Law would likely be announced for Phase 6, starting in late 2024. So they are planning it just a lot later down the line.
Yeah.
Which would make sense, because obviously at the end of She-Hulk, spoiler, go away now if you don't want to hear it, but we got introduced to Scar, didn't we? The son of Hulk. Yeah. So clearly she's going to appear and we're going to see her going forward. It's just that they don't necessarily need to have a season 2 to continue her story. Her story continues with Hulk and the rest of the Hulks.
Yeah,
that's how I see it.
Exactly. So cool.
It's like WandaVision didn't stop with WandaVision season 1. It's continued into Doctor Strange, and we're going to see it going forward with Agatha, and things just move on, don't they?
Exactly.
Yes, they do.
Big win for me. Number 2 though.
Ryan, what is your number 2? I'm going to guess. Let me see if I'm right. Because you're going to do the wrong one, I reckon. Oh, do you reckon?
I reckon, because I think my number 1 will be decent, but my second one is from a galaxy far, far away. So
I see what you did there by saying decent. I like that. I like that.
Right, okay. Answers in the comments. Who can guess what my number 1 is by the time we get round to number 1s? So my number 2 was Andor.
I can't believe I left this off my list.
It is interesting because a lot of people said that this was number 2 for many other reasons. But this is my IT skills, everyone. Notice how everything was good. Why is this a people with amazing beards? I don't know. It's we all got together originally and we did just have moustaches, but then we got put on a list and had to go report when we moved into the area. So we just grew the rest of the beard and then we could just blend into normal society. But that's why we've all got beards. Andor. So I went with Andor for my number 2. I absolutely loved Andor. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And we have jokingly had the long-running joke on this show every week where I go, anyone watch anything decent this week? I'm like, Andor! And you guys are like, oh, I haven't watched it. That has been the running joke. And then Jake has then caught up with everything. But is Ryan's background obviously Saved by the Bell? I appreciate that. That is exactly the vibe I was going for. Nope, this is even better. It's just an old bed sheet. I put money into this. I invest in this show. Andor was just an awesome show. Like every week, it was like it felt like an old spy thriller. There was no Jedi stuff in it. It was just, I just really enjoyed it like so much. And it's genuinely, I think out of all the shows, this is the one when the episodes ended, I was kind of like, oh man, I got to wait a whole week. I even like got up early to watch it before work. I was like, the second it came live on Disney Plus, I was like, right, I'm watching it the second because I don't want anything spoiled. I just want to watch it. And it was great. It was action packed. Had some cool little twists in it. It had some awesome new characters. There was just a couple of really emotional, gut wrenching bits. And it's funny because a lot of people, you can't invest in it because it's a character, you know what the fate is. But I just think the story built around it made it so good. Bourne Identity meets House of Cards meets Star Wars. Yeah, I can definitely get on board with that. Actually, yeah, Joby one might be bang on the money for that.
Yeah,
I love Andor.
It didn't make it onto my list just because, like we say, we did joke, and I found it hard to get to start with. But definitely by the end, I was 100% hooked. But I completely appreciate it on your top 3, and I think it definitely deserves a space.
Oh, shucks. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Ash, have you actually finished watching it yet?
No.
No.
There we go. Still continues. The tradition continues.
Yeah. No, it's definitely worth a watch. Definitely worth a watch.
I'm so curious about Ash's top 3 because we've got no idea what any of his stuff is on his list.
Oh, dance with my hands upon my hands.
Oh, Wednesday.
You know what?
Yeah.
That was the one I was gonna.
Do you know
bring
what?
up.
I reckon.
I said I left one off. It was this.
If I'd watched it yet, I think it would probably be in my top 3, but I haven't watched it yet, so that's probably why it is.
Yeah.
See, I started watching it and with my wife, and then my daughter wanted to watch it, and me and my wife wanted to watch it. It's like, well, all right, we'll give her a go with it. And she's been loving it. She's been absolutely loving it. Every episode, giggling her head off at it. She's a bit psycho, my child, I will admit. But you know, she loves it. Like we've really got into it, the character and stuff. And I like Tim Burton's take on it. I'm not gonna lie, I think she's awesome in this. All the callbacks to the original black and white Addams Family's in it is insane. And I just hope they keep it going for multiple seasons because it's really good so far. And I think there's plenty more.
It's been incredibly well received, and it started a whole new TikTok trend. And if things make TikTok trends, that normally goes well for things.
Yeah,
that's normally a good sign for stuff.
Jenna Ortega's in the new Scream film as well, which I'm now really excited about. After seeing her in this, I know she's been around for a while, but this really made her shine. Did
you see that for this she learned how to do fencing? She learned how to she learned loads of new skills to be in this film, to be in this TV series, and that's really cool. Obviously, learning how to do the Kubrick stare as well. I think that's just awesome.
I love the idea though. It's like Joey says in Friends, isn't it, about like all those special skills on my resume. I feel like I should actually learn one of them. She's probably just upped her acting skills resume by like 400% by being on one show.
Do you think you'd want to see like a full-on Addams Family movie spin-off, like using these actors and that? I think that'd be quite cool.
I hope so.
Where Wednesday isn't the main kind of focus, where it's the Addams actors. I think that the whole cast was really strong.
I think so. I haven't seen it yet, but from what I've seen of the trailers and everything, and the fact that it looks very much, even like who they've cast seems very much designed in the old sort of original drawings and stuff. So I think it'd be really cool to see it'd be nice because I didn't really get on with the animated films that well.
No, they were alright, but
yeah, they were a bit beige compared. But this is the first thing that I'm like with Addams Family where I've gone, oh, that's got my attention since the Beloved 2. We don't talk about the Tim Curry one, but the Beloved 2 from what we grew up with.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'd be up for a Tim Burton full-on Addams Family movie.
You know what's really cool about it as well is that it made Addams Family good again. Like for a certain generation, Addams Family is like it's a grail. You don't touch it, But
sorry, I've just seen Mick.
Mick. I am not doing the Kubrick stare, Mick.
Oh, I kind of wanted to see it now as well. This is gonna be the charity auction. Jake dressed up, Ash in a Kubrick thing.
That's it. But no, it just made it cool again, and it made Addams Family relevant again. It made it something that young kids and young people are into and stuff. So yeah, I'm all up for Wednesday. That's cool. Gets my vote.
In the program, there's a lot of callbacks to Morticia from her time at this Ravencroft school. So I mean, there's clearly more story, and they're going deeper with it every episode. So yeah, there's more things to learn about a mum and dad at the school. I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Why did you just sound like Doom when he picked up the gun? Whoa.
No, I don't know. I just like more.
That's why you did it.
It's because anything that ends in or, it comes from like this is fucking throwback now, but it comes from remember the Judge Dredd film, the Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
I am the law. That one, it's a great film, but there's one bit with the Rico character, and someone says like to him about that's with the law, and he turns around and goes law, and now every time I hear something with the sound, I'm like more raw, and I don't even know I'm doing it half the time. That's probably why I got fired for my last 3 jobs.
Right, my number one TV pick.
Go on, number 1.
You just see mixed. Yeah, sorry. My number one TV. number one TV pick for 2022 was the very awesome Moon Knight. Yeah, again, not everyone's cup of tea. But there was just something about it. It was just very different. It was very dark in places. I think there were some really good performances in there. It had a really good ending, like a really good cliffhanger ending. Like the CGI in it was really good. And I was a fan of Moon Knight in the comic books. I love the kind of Moon Knight element in the comic books, and this just kind of touched on that enough for me that it was good. Does that make sense? But yeah, it was just. Yeah, I can't really put into words, but this was the show that I enjoyed the most last year.
It was awesome, and I think Oscar Isaac's performance in it was brilliant, especially the English one. I don't know why I found that so watchable. Is it Stephen? Did that one, isn't it? That personality. Yeah. I could just watch more of Stephen, just Stephen going through life. I don't know why. It just everything he does was brilliant in it.
See, I've got the vote. I've got the viewers' votes. This is fine. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, Moon Knight was very much a comic book, a character I read the comic books for. I just love. I've got all the figures, the Marvel Legends figures. I just enjoyed the show from beginning to end, and it just kind of made me want more. And it left me on a cliffhanger, and I'm really excited. I think what was really good about it as well is I'm really excited to see where he comes in next, but there's been absolutely no hint or like sniff of that at all. Like we have no idea when or if we're going to see Moon Knight again, and I think that's really Moon Knighty. If that makes sense. So,
very unagi.
Yeah, Moonagi. Yeah,
Moonagi.
Moon Knight.
Moonagi.
Moon Knight was my favourite TV show of the year. Done. There's my top three.
Right now absolutely no one guessed in the comments, which is good because when I say no one guessed, I mean not that no one got it right, just no one bothered guessing. So my one.
This is the one that I'm gutted I left off my list. You know that from our chat. I was like, yeah. How did I leave this off?
Because one, it is also the theme song is my number one listened song on Spotify this year. Fun fact, it's Peacemaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing, absolutely awesome. It was funny from like the start to the finish. It was well written. It was well acted. The soundtrack was phenomenal, flawless. I really just could not. And it took me ages to get into this because it took ages to show in the UK compared to America, which was really annoying. But yeah, Mick, I bet it was Peacemaker. Damn it, he was right. I'm going to put that down to really bad lag, maybe. I'm joking. But yeah, I just absolutely loved it. I just thought it was a phenomenal series. I'm really glad the second one's coming soon. And let's be honest, because the person who is like now running the DC thing is the guy who wrote this. So I think it's safe to say that season 2 is still happening because it was also probably one of the best rated things, including the Suicide Squad film, which it obviously spun off from. They're two of the highest rated DC stuff for quite a while. And they're just both brilliant. So I'm just so happy about it. Yeah, so I reckon I agree with Joby one though. I don't think it's gonna be. I hope they don't nix it in the reset, but I don't think they will. I think they'll keep them because they're just too popular.
Well, you know what? Thinking about it, spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen Peacemaker, but in the end scene, obviously there's the big cameos. You only actually get cameos from 2 characters, and as far as I'm aware, they've not been reset yet.
Well, one of them we think has, because
there's been no definite kind of like there's been really obvious kind of we're not doing 1, 2, 3. We are not Henry Cavill. We're not Batman, whatever. Just no Batman, And then there's I don't know. But I love Peacemaker.
I think they'll be all right though, because the Flash movie with the ever popular and never trouble and always smooth to perform with Ezra Miller. That's coming out soon, and that's going to completely reset that's what they're using, I think, to reset everything, which is smart because Flashpoint in the comics is how they reset most things. Or if you're not doing Infinite Crisis, then you use Flashpoint. That's your that's your get out of jail free card. That's how you reset a universe and still potentially keep some of it in the realms of it or whatever. But Peacemaker.
With the way John Cena portrays Peacemaker, do Do you not see that he could very easily do like a fourth wall break kind of moment and just go, well, they've reset the universe. James Gunn had the power to do so, and I'm staying in it. So let's move on. You could just hear his voice do it and get away with it because it's John Cena.
Or he comes and goes,
over the top.
or he could
He's
come
over
onto the screen and he could be like, "Did you see the announcement about my character being cut?" No, you didn't. Sorry. Too obvious. But
yeah. Oh, Mick.
So I'm just reading some of the comments.
We are not going to go down that Amber Heard route. That is, yeah. But yeah. So just a quick honourable mention. I know. Sorry. You haven't done your third.
And I know what you're going to say, so stop it.
Okay.
I know that because he's going to say the one that you were going to say for honourable mention, I reckon. And I reckon it's Cobra Kai season 5, I reckon.
No, please, because it's the one TV show, another that I just completely forgot. And I was like, how did I forget all the great TV shows?
It's a stupidly small image again, though. But yeah, Cobra Kai.
Yeah, and I didn't do the image this time, so it's not my fault.
Yeah.
I'm going to get rid of that. There we go. Yeah, Cobra Kai. For me, yeah, it was just the last season, especially with Silver and stuff like that, and how it ended and stuff was very cool. And I think they have only got one more season in them, really. I think any more than one more, I think it's going to get silly. But if they play it out the way it's sort of unfolding, we're going to go to the big championships, and that should be the ending right there. If they win or they lose the big championship, that should be the ending. But we'll see because Kreese is coming back, and yeah,
I still haven't seen it yet.
Oh mate,
so the problem, no, because and then here's the problem, right? So I get that reaction. I didn't start with. I really wanted to. I know you don't have to, but I really want to watch the Karate Kid films first. Got the 4 on the Blu-ray. I will watch them, and then I'll go straight into it, and I'll probably binge Cobra Kai. But the problem is, everything we do this show on a weekly basis, right? And nearly every week we have to have watched 3 or 4 shows nowadays because of Disney Plus and this and that. I genuinely have not had the time to sort of sit there. It's the same as I'm still not seeing Game of Thrones. I've not watched Breaking Bad. I've been rejected from my social club. I'm not allowed near my parents anymore. You know, all these things that keep happening because I can't keep up with these TV shows. There's just too many good TV shows, and I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry.
Viz put in the chat there just quickly, what are your theories for season 6? My theories for season 6 of Cobra Kai is that there's going to be a bit of a rivalry. They're going to do some karate. They're going to enter a tournament. Someone's going to learn a lesson, and someone will probably come back from one of the films to make a cameo. That's kind of their ingredients to every season, and it works. So stick with what works, like, you know.
So a good few flashbacks, maybe still.
Season 6. Obviously, at the end of the last season, someone came back. I won't say who was right. I've seen it.
I'm going to guess it's from the next Karate Kid because that's the film they haven't tapped yet.
But anyway, he's come back. I think he will apologize to Johnny, and I think he will side with Johnny, and it'll be the 3 of them as senseis taking on Silver. That's how I see it going down. Because Silver's already got that. I forgot her name. There's the lady that from China that was that master's daughter, wasn't it? She's already there with all the goons and stuff they've already got from them lot. They don't really need him in that mix-up anymore. So I think it'll be a good arc for that character to come back full circle and become a good guy, just like Hawk and all the rest of them have come full circle. I think it'll be his sort of redemption piece. Make
Bless
peace
you.
with Dan.
Bless you.
It's me. Yeah, no, I agree. It's just a good show. Couple of honourable mentions for TV shows. House of Dragons has to go in there.
Yeah.
That was a very cool TV show. Lord of the Rings. There was the Lord of the Rings TV show. That was very good as well. On Disney Plus, right at the end of the year, which is still ongoing, is we had Willow come back on as well, which is a lot of fun if you're a fan of the original film. I mean, it's not gonna. You don't like it, so. You what?
What? I didn't say anything. Don't watch it.
Oh, really?
Willow.
No, I have watched it. No, say what it is. It's just that nostalgia kick for me, and it's just watching Willow. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's no Game of Thrones. It's kind of like the Poundland version of those films.
It's like I hope that Disney doesn't realize. Like someone's like running around the studios trying to find new things to reboot. And like they found Chippendale the other year, and they give them a good kick back to the front. and then they're trying to get Roger Rabbit to come back, and then they sort of like stumble across this little thing called the Henson Studio, and they're going to go inside there and they're going to see what they can find. I'm very scared that they're going to find the labyrinth. I'm so scared they're going to uncover the labyrinth is in their pocket to remake, because I don't want them to do it.
You don't touch labyrinth. If they touch labyrinth, that's a subscription. That's it.
But it was as far as I'm aware, it was a Henson production, and I believe Disney now has the distribution rights for it. Because it's on Disney Plus. So, don't touch it, Disney. Don't
Joby 1, Strange New Worlds was in 2022, but I have not watched it yet. I am up to date with Star Trek Discovery, which I really enjoyed, and I know that the spin-off, obviously, for Strange New Worlds is on, and it's been very well reviewed, so I am looking forward to watching that one, but that did come out this year, because that's every Paramount Plus advert I see that tries to get me to do a free trial keeps going like, well, we know you like Star Trek, so we know you've been watching Star Trek. Come watch Star Trek on ours. So I haven't got around to it yet, but I will. I promise.
Honorable mention as well. Picard as well was amazing. Picard was great, and that's coming back very soon. That was this year, wasn't it? Well, last year.
Season 2 was this year?
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Yeah,
I almost needed to have like a folder of all the series this year, and then so I could flick through. There's so many things.
Yeah, there's so much. Are we moving on to movies or figures now?
I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous by Mick's question. How off topic can we be in the conversation?
Hang on, we had a topic of conversation. We had a script.
yeah, because normally we're so professional keeping to the topic.
Why did I want a Robin Hood moment then from Many Times? Why do all three of us need like a script just to pull out and go, hang on, we've got a script?
No, he doesn't come into page 3.
I hope we don't say, if we're going to do movies, I need Ryan to decide very quickly what his top 3 is, because he's got 5.
Yeah, well...
Or are we going with all 5?
Well, we established that one of them is also one of Jake's, so Jake's going to have that one so we can talk about it, and then that took the pressure off, so I'll just clearly settle for having 4 instead.
Yeah.
4.
I can't remember what order I put mine in. I'm just trying to think.
I do
I'm so
have an
professional,
order for
just
this
keep
one.
talking for a minute.
Yeah. Can we agree that Winston is the best Ghostbuster?
Speaking of that, here we go. Talking about random tangent. Winston, there's someone's redoing the original Sega Mega Drive game for Ghostbusters, and they are adding Winston into it because Winston was just unceremoniously completely not left out of the Sega Mega Drive or Sega Genesis Ghostbusters game. So someone is sort of redoing it and adding Winston into it, which is a cool little random thing that you didn't know, and now you do know. So you're all welcome.
Yeah. Right, let's power through TV, through movies, because we talked a long time on TV. So let's get through movies quick. Should we do mine first?
Yeah, Jake, your number 3 choice is?
My number 3 choice movie, was DC, funnily enough. And I think it's, no surprise that this made it into top 3. It was a very good film. But yeah, I do like my DC stuff. But there was obviously the incredible The Batman that came out. And again, it wasn't really cup of tea. Some people liked it. Some people hated it. For me, it was just nice to have something that was DC that didn't link into everything else. Because the DC Extended Universe, at the time that The Batman came out, there was lots of ongoing projects and everything like that. And it just felt a little bit, little bit kind of messy.
Fuzzy.
Whereas the Batman was just very dark. It was very Saw-esque, I thought, with the whole Riddler stuff. And we went to see it quite late, didn't we?
Yes. Jake did not realise the length of this film, and then we went for the very late showing, and then he was like, wait, what time is it finishing? And I was like, it's finishing at was it 3 a.m? We went to the midnight showing, didn't we?
We went for a late show. I'm sure it's a midnight show.
It was the midnight release, actually. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, the midnight release, and it ended at something stupid like 3:30 in the morning. But I managed to stay awake, and that
midweek as well, by the way, everyone. So we had work the next morning. That's commitment.
Exactly, but to me, the fact that I stayed awake at a midnight showing that lasted that long said a lot to me. So that's why I went into my top 3, because I
just kept stabbing him lightly in the arm. It kept him awake the entire film.
But it was just the music as well, and it was just like watching a comic book. Sometimes it was just like those kind of animated comic books you kind of see. Mick, we would have taken Sorrell, but you know how far away he is from us.
He's so awkward. He lives so far away, just to be difficult.
It's but Yeah, there we go. So that was my number 3.
And that was the
three.
one that I had also had in my list. I couldn't work out whether or not to put on, but because Jake put on his.
And we both put it in our list because we went to a midnight showing together. So it made it an awesome film and one of our favourites.
Special moment.
Oh man, my bro!
First time we'd actually seen each other in person for so long as well.
It was. We haven't seen each other in person. And,
and I even brought a cushion.
Yeah, not for anything dodgy, but it was...
Well, no. You say I didn't bring it for anything dodgy, but whatever. Nothing dodgy happened, but didn't say I didn't bring it for that. Yeah, exactly. You know, the old reach around. Oh. So. I don't know. But anyway, my number 3 and 4. It is bad. So you don't have to do pictures for this, but my 3 and 4 because I really can't. So I enjoyed all my films, but the 3/4 one, they're really opposing films, but is Elvis and Avatar 2. They could be more different from each other, I know, but it's just because the 4 films I had for the 5, including the Batman, I really struggled to be able to sort of differentiate how much I love them, all for different reasons. Elvis I really love because I'm a sucker for Baz Luhrmann, and I'm a sucker for a biopic. Big fan of Elvis. Grew up with Elvis, and it was just a really beautiful film. And it just when it's just a film sticks with you. And it just stuck with me from when I saw it. And I have watched quite a few of the scenes again on YouTube. Now it's on Blu-ray. I'll go and buy it on Blu-ray. But I really, really enjoyed it. I just thought it was a really, really well-made film. And then Avatar 2, I got to see that the other week because I got after we went to see the Avatar 1 re-release in the cinema, like me and my other half, and it was just I forgot how amazing it was. Just even visually, like the world it gets sucked in. Even if you don't like the story that much, I think you can actually just go. It's a bit like watching Blue Planet or something. You can just the visual spectacle of it is awesome in its own right. But Avatar 2 was actually just brilliant. I loved it. I was worried I'd overhyped it in my head a bit because it's like I enjoyed the first one again so much and everything, but I actually think in a lot of ways I preferred the second one.
What made me laugh, though, I must admit, I saw like a meme today online, and it was like, imagine waiting 12 years to do your sequel only to get beaten in the charts by Puss in Boots. Because Puss in Boots has taken its spot in the charts, and I was like, wow.
But I think money-wise, it's well over in the billions now in where it's taken. Like, it's a ridiculous success, Avatar 2. Like, it is over $1 billion, I think I saw when I looked up the other day, but that is doing really well. But I saw it in 3D as well. But
I saw a thing from James Cameron as well saying the reason they've taken so long and stuff, one was to let technology catch up with what he wanted to do. And plus, he wanted to film them all back to back because when he saw Stranger Things, he saw that the children aged too much between seasons because of the breaks and how things work in the real world. He wanted the children in the Avatar 2 movie, or the youngins in the adolescent in the film, to stay the same age throughout the next 4 movies. There's not much time gap between them, apparently.
I can see the logic in that.
So, you are sorry?
Aren't they CGI'd?
Well, they're mocap. So,
because it's if the kids
the
get
voices,
older,
as
voices
well.
and stuff will be different.
I would say as well, interesting fun fact about Avatar 2, Kate Winslet now has the record for a longest breath held performance, and it was about 7.5 minutes holding her breath underwater. But it became the long. I think she beat Tom Cruise was the previous longest running, but she's now got the longest performance underwater in one single breath.
Kate Winslet's in Avatar 2.
Yeah,
James Cameron really likes Kate Winslet.
No, she just really likes the water. No. There was room for 2 people on that board. And no, not getting into it. I'm not getting into it. But yeah, there you go. That's my top 3 / 3rd or 4th position.
So come on, you've not even done the top 3, and you're taking 10 minutes. Well,
sorry. So it's 5 minutes each.
My third, I reckon is Jacob's second.
Oh. It's like a mother's meeting.
Yep.
Pray.
Yep.
Cool. So I thought we'd do two one barrel kind of thing. But Pray for Me was a great movie. I loved it. I loved the fact that it was Native American and something a little bit different. No technology involved. The fact that she had to hunt him out of pure wit and just using sticks and stones basically to beat the guy up, which I thought was awesome. Yeah. And there's been so many fan theories now saying that they need to do feudal Japan next. If they make feudal Japan out of Prey, like in the same sort of way they did Prey and stuff, that would be amazing.
I think the success of this film makes that much more of a reality. And I'll be honest, so this is a bit like you, Jake, with some other films, like with the Peacemaker being the series. I had forgotten this came out this year. I had it in my head. It was end of 2021. So I didn't even entertain this for my list. And then the minute I saw it, I was like, and I'm already struggling as it is. I can't add another one.
So, funnily, all my choices this year are films that I've watched at home, not at a cinema. So, like, I've noticed that your guys' choices have been the ones where you've actually gone to the cinema to see stuff. All mine have been because I haven't been to the cinema at all. Well, I just haven't been. So all mine are from home movies.
Prey was a home one for me.
Prey didn't have a cinema release, I don't think. No. Annoyingly, because I wanted it to have one. And also, out of the three of us, obviously I don't have kids, and so I'm always down to the movies. So if there's a chance to see something on the big screen, I would much rather see something on the big screen than on TV first.
The thing for me with Prey is that as this was my number 2, I'm going to talk a little bit about it as well, and then
of course.
But I love most of the Predator films. I don't think there's been a Predator film that's come out that I've actually hated. There are definitely worse ones than others, but none of them have been as good as that first one. That first one, with the exception, I really enjoyed Predators. To be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie. The kind of one where they're on the island, the Hunger Games-esque one. But it's Mick.
Yeah, just see Mick's comments.
But I am with this was very reminiscent of that first one, and it was very similar to what made the first one so good. Just as kind of stripped back, right back to basics, and it genuinely made the Predator scary because it was hunting as opposed to just I've got a big gun, and I'm more technologically advanced than you.
It was about the hunt.
It was about him hunting, and I just found this really good, and I even liked the fact that they'd switched the title round to Prey, meaning obviously she's the prey or whatnot. It was just very good, and I enjoyed it, and I liked I liked everything about it. Not gonna lie.
Cool. And that was also Jake's number 2. So shall I just go on to my number 2 straight away then?
Yeah.
So my number 2 was Everything Everywhere All at Once. Easily the best multiverse film of the year. Ooh, Marvel shade. That's right. I bloody well did it. I absolutely loved Everything Everywhere All at Once. I thought it was mind-bending. It was awesome. It was a visual spectacle. It was just bloody nuts.
Yeah.
It was awesome. But it was just and on the fraction of the budget, and I mean Jamie Lee Curtis was hilarious in it as well. But it's just a fucking great film. Absolutely great film. And a return to the screen for can't remember what the actor's name is. The one who played Short Round and obviously Gizmo in Goonies. I can't remember what his name is. Oh, can't remember what the actor's name is. Oh God, I don't know Jake. Can't remember the name. But it's the guy from Goonies. But it was his first film back on the big screen since obviously he retired, sort of semi-retired for acting. So this is the problem. I said one joke about Jake not remembering the name. He's gone. What
so rude, Jacob.
Welcome to the new Geek Week in Review with me, Geek, and SuperSorrell. So Everything Everywhere All at Once. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I like Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness. I thought it was pretty good, but I just thought how Andy sounds like Richard Iowati. No, he bloody well doesn't. That's not true. You feel trapped like a moth in a bath.
Multiverse as well, just quickly. Multiverse of Madness, even though it's not landed on any of our lists, was the highest grossing Marvel film of the year.
Oh. I love how you said that with the confidence of with the mug and everything. It was highest grossing film of the year. Marvel. Marvelous. But that was my number 2. That was my number 2 film of the year.
All right then, so my number 1, let's go to my number 1.
Whoa. I've got Ash's number 2.
Whoa. Good.
Right. It's because he stole my number 2 with his number 3.
Ooh, your show, your rules.
Oh, yes, of course.
Hocus Pocus 2! So, all my childhood in the making, this bad boy, and it didn't disappoint. I was really scared this was going to be a crap movie, and I was so delighted that it was decent. The fact that it didn't try to be the first film again, it was its own thing, and they were very self-aware, and I just loved everything about it. It was such a great movie, and it was a good jumping in point. My daughter was able to watch it with us. My wife loves it. It's her favorite film now for Halloween. So, I mean, it was just a good all-round film. Feel-good movie.
I still haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I like the fact that at the end, obviously, because it would be harder to make them the villains nowadays because people love them. They're like the unofficial mascots of Halloween. You can't have them as the villain really anymore. It don't work. So I like the fact they turned that around a little bit toward the end, and they gave him a good ending, a good write-off and stuff. Great way of doing it.
I just really don't see them as bad guys. That's the thing. They're not villains, are they?
My sister
really.
absolutely hated it. She's a huge Hocus Pocus fan, and she came in the other day. We still haven't got around to watching it, But I'm looking forward to. Obviously, I didn't watch the original Hocus Pocus until because of this show and the pressure from the people on this show. I eventually watched it because, weirdly, despite the fact that being bisexual, I don't actually like Bette Midler. It's a really weird phenomenon, I know, but apparently came with the DNA, but I missed it. I can't stand her. I find her really annoying. So when I watch it, and Sarah Jessica Parker. So in regards to casting, 2 out of 3 I find quite annoying. But I did enjoy the first Hocus Pocus. I did enjoy it. So I will give this one a go with an open mind and an open heart.
In this film, they did a really cool prequel-y moment where you had the 3 kids playing younger versions of them, and it was set during like the ye olde times of America and that. And I would literally sit through a film of that because those kids that played the younger versions of them were amazing. And I would literally sit through an hour and a half like film of that, of how they became the Sanderson witches, like a prequel.
Yeah, so I was just thinking of like that era in the 90s when we had like Muppet Babies, Tom and Jerry kids. Now we can have like Hocus Pocus kids.
Hocus Pocus kids.
Yeah.
Muppet
babies. Sorry. There's that sidetrack. I don't like. You don't like Bette Midler. She keeps an American highway clean.
Mick, step away from the keyboard. You're drunk.
What is Jacob's Toys #1 film of the year?
I know what it is.
So do I. We saw it on the chat, but
my #1 film of the year, without a doubt, without saying, is of course The Incredible Wakanda Forever. This film hit on so many different levels. It introduced new characters to the MCU, like Namor in a perfect way. It gave other characters from the original Black Panther movie really good story arcs and really good direction. I felt an emotional connection to pretty much everyone involved. The way that they handled, obviously, Chadwick Boseman's passing was done in a really respectful but yet kind of perfectly executed way, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And it just, like, cinematically, if that's the correct word, there were certain things that were just beautiful about it, like parts where like Shuri's on the beach and it's just deadly quiet at the end, and like the bit at the beginning where they do the Marvel logo and it was all purple and it was all pictures of Black Panther and Chadwick Boseman, and again it was quiet. Like it was just it was a real kind of and underneath it all it was just a brilliant film. So
do you know what? Also, I think maybe the experience of seeing it at midnight with a very close friend probably helped that as well.
This is another one we went to for a midnight show.
Yeah.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
That's the 2 times we've been to the cinema this year. So basically, I've made the top films for you special this year, is what you're saying.
But no, it was just one of them films where I don't even know how to put it, but it just felt very good, felt very special, felt very like significant. I think that's probably the better word to use. Felt very nice. So there we go. So that's my my top 3.
My #1 film for the year was a return to the classic blockbusters. It was Top Gun Maverick. That was my #1 film of the year because it was like the most blockbuster sort of feeling film, like almost like when you're a kid and you used to go see the big like blockbuster of the year or whatever. It felt like that for the first time in ages, and that was the tiniest picture for the biggest movie. I've really got to work on my IT skills. But anyway, Top Gun Maverick. I thought it was perfect. I really couldn't fault it. It was the right amount of nostalgia. Like it was a gentle hug of nostalgia, not a slap around the face of nostalgia. So like I could sort of get on board with that. Like the music cues were just enough to make you go, "Oh, Top Gun," without going like, "Oh my God, Top Gun, Jesus." So I'm seeing the comment. Mick, upon hearing Ryan doesn't like Bet, hold my earrings while I go scratch his eyes out. Oh, honey, you try it. But seriously, Top Gun Maverick was just like, it was just epic. It was epic. It was awesome. It was beautifully performed. Just the action sequences were great. You could tell because Tom Cruise fought to have it done like in real planes. That was his sort of major thing. But like, just it was so good. It was so good that it hurt. It was so good. I just want to. I might just need this to go and watch it. Actually,
I haven't
Again.
actually.
No,
No, I haven't seen
Ash,
it
you
yet.
seen it yet?
Was there a bit where Anthony Mackie said on your left, or is that a different film?
That's Captain America.
I quit.
No, I haven't seen it yet. And Mick, despite all of his jokes and everything in the comments, I think he's just put it perfectly. Is that it's a film that we really need to see. Like I do really want to go and see it. I do really want to see it. I just haven't got around to watching it. And similar to what you said about certain TV shows, it's kind of with movies. I was like, I had to pick them here and there. So
it's a shame because if it does come back to the cinema and you get a chance to see it on the big screen, it is one of those films that really was designed for the big screen. Because Tom Cruise famously said, fought off and made the real point about not letting it go to streamers during lockdown and stuff like that. He desperately wanted to the cocktail. Cocktail Maverick. I could totally see that. Yeah. Or they just do what they do nowadays, just call it cocktails and just put an S on it. Just pluralize it, and that's a sequel. But yeah, just if you get a chance to see it in the cinema, it really is made for the big screen. It's still awesome on the small screen, but it was unforgettable on the big screen. Back to you.
Go on in, Sorrel. What's your number one?
Might surprise the hell out of you.
You're gonna.
Trolls, no.
Chippendale!
Rescue.
The new Rescue movie. I thought it was the perfect amount of something new but nostalgic. It felt like Roger Rabbit all over again to me. It felt like the whole idea of Toontown and like the mix of live action with cartoon that's not been done in a long time like that. Yeah, I thought that was just a instant classic Disney movie, to be honest. It was just a feel-good film. It was. I like the fact that they acknowledged the from cartoon to CGI and, like, say, the weird Sonic with the weird teeth and stuff like that was in there, and Chitara and all these random characters were just all thrown in. And I just thought it was a great movie. And the fact that it didn't get a cinema release, to be honest, it is actually criminal because that was a damn good film.
Yeah, that should have had a cinema release, without a doubt. Without a doubt. So there we go. So there's our top 3 movie picks of 2022. I can't even think of any honourable mentions. There was a lot that came out. Definitely.
Yes, it's on Disney Plus, by the way, Mick. Sorry, I just seen Mick asked if it's on Disney Plus. It was exclusively on Disney Plus.
It was.
I saw Gone as well. Did you guys catch Gone?
I haven't seen that yet.
No, I missed it.
Disappointed. Really disappointed. Yeah. So there we go. That's my kind of honourable mention of a disappointment. Same as kind of Love and Thunder. I was really hyped for it. I thought it was going to be this 80s mashup, hard, like heavy metal kind of thing, and it just was a bit of a joke. I love Thor, and I love it as a part of everything else. But yeah, I was just it could have been something much cooler. The trailers I thought for Thor were a lot better than the actual movie. But yeah, so there we go. So that was our top 3 movies. Let's move on to action figures. I think we should do this as our own 3. I think we should go for our own 3 to keep the momentum up a bit. But let's mix it up. Ryan, do you want to go first on this one?
Cool. Basically, what he means is he already knows what mine are. They're the least interesting. I should go first. Right. So I have got.
Wasn't it?
Yep. Just seen that, and you are as transparent as that. Cool. Anyway, I'm checking. So mine, I'm very. If anyone watches the show, on a weekly basis, and Jake left the camera. I'm mainly like sort of vintage Star Wars and Transformers is sort of mainly my thing that I collect. Hence why I don't normally have a huge amount to say on, what do you call it? Marvel Legends. That's it. It's not really my thing, but I do a lot of the vintage Star Wars stuff, especially people like custom creators. So
even need ones.
I do technically do Marvel Legends, but come on, you weren't even bothered about those at one point, all right? It's only because Steve sent you ones or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool, yeah. So technicality, whatever. But the important thing is we're all grown-ups about it. Yeah. So my top figures. Actually, there was very nearly some Marvel retro in my top 3.
Mick, I love it. Anyone that doesn't know who you are in the chat are going to just be like, what?
Oh, yeah. As long as they speak. Well, I speak geek, so that's okay. But my top 3 figures of the year. So Stan Solo is a custom vintage Star Wars collector. Figure creator. They're like factory made to be like the original Kenner figures. And he made Slave Leia, which was like one of those figures that was weirdly omitted from like the original lineup. And you know, it's finally been made and made so well. Like, it really does feel like the original Kenner series. Like, it's absolutely phenomenal. It's awesome to finally have it. Looks great in displays, and annoyingly, because of Christmas decorations, it's actually boxed up and hidden away because they needed the space. So I can't even show that one on screen. But I absolutely love the figure. That was not in any particular order, by the way. On the note of something completely different, Transformers. We have. This is Day 2 Roadblock. So this is a G2 figure from Hasbro. This is like a remold of the Prime RC molds. This one is not a huge character. It's not a massively popular one. It wasn't really in any comics or anything, but I got the original one of these when I was a kid, and it's one of those sort of things that where it's just like a core memory. Like, even though that figure isn't a popular one, it's not even the best made figure, but for me, that is like just. I can really remember clear as day when I got that. So exciting! It had a light up like sort of chainsaw feature on it, which none of my other toys did. It was just really awesome, really unusual, and it also weirdly fit my Star Wars figures on it in motorbike mode. But I absolutely loved it. So I would never think that Hasbro would deep dive and go in to make this in a modern version, and yet here it is. And I absolutely love it. It's brilliant. It's been updated beautifully. It's a really good homage to the original character. I'm chuffed to bits with it. So well done, Hasbro. And my third and final figure for my top 3 is Jay Quill, not Jay Quallen, Jay Quill, which is from. It's a little Key and Peele joke to be there if you watch it. So this is from the Next 17. So Graham Park, who makes the Next 17 figures, does awesome stuff. And I finally, this wave only actually got into my hands in the last couple of weeks. But it's another one of sort of Jabba's background alien characters in the original in Return of the Jedi. And again, when those ones where like I had the Star Wars Visual Dictionary in the 90s because we didn't have the internet that well, or it took 3 years to load up a page, so we just used books. Fantastic things, books. I'll get into those another thing. That's a whole other episode. But I used to go through all the background pictures. Aaron present. So Jay Quill was just one of those figures I always really wanted, and now I physically have it in my hands. It feels awesome. It looks awesome, and it just makes me very, very happy. I mean, runner-up in the same way was Little Baby Wampa, which is just adorable. Just something he created on his own, but just Baby Wampa. Muppet Babies, Baby Wampa. But there you go. There's my top figures, and also with the Transformers going in the comments. Viz, I do watch Prime versus Prime sometimes, actually, but I'm more of a Thew Adams. I love his stuff. Also because I got into a habit of talking to like him for a while, and I realized I can't do that on YouTube videos. People just think I'm copying him, but he's awesome. I met him once very briefly. And my Nick said, I'm not a Transformers guy. Hot Rod is my favorite for obvious reasons. That's ace. Thank you very much. It is awesome. Yeah, there you go. There's Ryan's top 3, and I'll breathe now and shut up and let you guys talk. Thanks.
I don't care what you say. Jay Quill and the Next 17 sounds like a rap album from the 90s. You say that, and you say that, I just hear like an old school Dr. Dre beat. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
It's Jay Quill. Here to kill it.
Let's go on to my top 3 figures of 2022. All Marvel, surprisingly. Although 2022 was the year where I kind of branched out into other areas and stuff as well.
I was surprised not to see a certain Christmas-based franchise actually make an appearance. I really thought that would make an appearance in your top 3.
Yeah, it almost did. But they weren't. Yeah, that's a whole other video.
Sorry, Mick. Ash is so white. Sorry, that's just my favorite comment. Sorry.
So, in third place for me, Marvel Legends did a re-release of this particular figure that we haven't had since the early 2000s. That was an absolute grail for so many people. And they did a re-release of her, and it was absolutely perfect, in my opinion. And that is, of course, the retro-carded X-Men Spiral figure. It's really sweet. It's just completely pinless. All of the arms have the double elbow articulation, which is really great. She comes with all the weapons. The face sculpt is really nice, and it was just one of those figures that I wasn't sure we were going to get a re-release because the whole multiple arms and multiple weapons and that kind of stuff is a very toy busy kind of figure.
It's impressive to get the 4 arms in there like that.
Yeah. Oh, the way it's sculpted and the articulation on it is really good as well. She really can get into some really cool poses. But I just didn't think that they were going to go and touch her. I thought they were going to leave it as a Toy Biz one. But yeah, that was definitely my my number 3. Sorry, I'm just Mickey's Sorrell is the king of toy collectors in York. King of Yorkshire.
If I don't see a crown, I don't believe it.
That is my number 3. That is my number 3.
That's a cool number 3 choice, actually. I don't even collect them, and I like that look of that figure. That's pretty awesome.
She's a cool one, and because she's retro carded, I just think that despite what everyone says about Hasbro and things that they've done, they could have very easily made a deluxe figure. If you look at things like the Boba Fett deluxe figure that we got, there was a lot less in that packaging than there was in that spiral packaging. So they could have made her a deluxe and hiked the price up, but they didn't. Then she was just part of the retro wave. And Viz as well, for any of you Marvel fans, they've said we need an updated Man Spider figure with the same treatment as Spiral. I completely agree. I think that the way that the 6-arm Spider-Man was very cool, but it would be good if they went back and redid 6-arm Spider-Man as well. But to get a Man Spider figure, that would be a deluxe that I would definitely buy. So there we go. So my number 2 pick, going in very quickly, changing brands over to one of my favourites. I've lost it now, so it was there and it's gone.
No!
It deleted it. But changing brands over from Hasbro to my new favourite toy provider, without a doubt, Diamond Select's Carnage figure. This Carnage is awesome, absolutely awesome. He's just out of reach. I can see him. He's looking at me. But yeah, it was one of them ones where I opened it up and I was kind of like, it just got better and better because there's so many accessories in it. There's all these different heads. The tendrils coming out of the back was it's a removable piece as well. Yeah, it's just a really good Carnage figure. It scales really nicely as well with the movie Venom figure that we got from Marvel Legends, and looks very similar to a movie version of Carnage that from the Let There Be Carnage. So it doubles up in so many different ways.
Is that line the same scale then as Marvel Legends? Like line-wise, is it?
Marvel Select come in at about 7 inches, whereas Marvel Legends come in at about 6 inches. So he's a little bit taller than other figures, but because
so bigger characters you can probably get away with it, but normal human characters maybe
so
not.
Like, and stuff like that you can get away with it.
And like Juggernaut, I said Juggernaut for years was the Select Juggernaut was my choice because it was a lot bigger and chunkier than the Marvel offering.
But it was it's just that, but because the Carnage in the movie was taller than Venom, they've kind of scaled him up. This one works really well as a kind of a movie Carnage. So for any collectors out there that have got like their movie Venom figures, this one definitely goes in nicely as a movie Carnage figure. But it was just a really cool figure, and it was one of them ones where the nice thing about Diamond Select's Marvel Select figures is they come in the big open boxes, just like this one. Go on here. But they come in the open boxes, and you can literally see everything still. So they've not switched to the windowless boxes, but they're massive. They're massive boxes, and a lot of the time stuff is hidden away. So when you get when I got the Carnage, I didn't realize there was as much in there as there was. So yeah, so that's my number 2. That is my number 2. Diamond Select's Carnage figure. And my number 1 goes to the man himself. Now I've done a poll on my Instagram as well, trying to like rank the top Marvel Legend of the year. And it's in the final stages at the moment, so it's about to kind of go in. He's a tall comic figure. Yeah. No, he is. I know. Sorry, Mick, I'm trying to answer that. But this figure hasn't made it. Like my top figure hasn't made it into the top 3 in my poll with my Instagram following.
Oh, disappointing.
But my top figure of 2022, without a doubt, was the cell shaded, animated style Spider-Man.
Here's one I made earlier.
Yeah, he's just really cool. He's super poseable. You can get him into a whole bunch of different poses. The cell shading on him is he's not over the top. It's not too in your face. It's nice and subtle. It's in the right places. The design of him is just, see, but Mick's saying he's nice but way too short. See, that's the reason a lot of people haven't picked him over the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man. But for me, he's the right height for a Spider-Man. I don't want my Spider-Man to be too tall. I think that in a lot of the comic books that I remember, when I think of Spider-Man, rightly or wrongly, he is a little bit shorter than the other characters. So for me, he was the perfect scale. But yeah, he's just a really nice figure. And he's kind of, as a big collector of the Spider-Man figures, I've got a lot of Spider-Man figures. This one has come out on top. This one is the kind of the ultimate.
The thing is, I love seeing that logo on the top of the card because that does make me feel like a kid in the 90s, seeing like the obviously like a Mick saying like, but I love cell shaded look with him and the X-Men figures, and that's because obviously it is so like provocative of that 90s cartoon, the original Marvel Cinematic Universe on the small screen with like the X-Men cartoon, Fantastic Four cartoon, Spider-Man cartoon, Hulk cartoon, Iron Man cartoon, all crossing over, and like just seeing that logo, like I get what you mean. The nostalgia vibes are huge. I can see why you like that so much, man.
And this particular figure, based on the animated series, animated series Spider-Man. So that's why this one came out on top for me. There we go. That's my top 3.
I can't wait to see Ashes because I think they're going to be like just ones where we're like, what the heck figure was that?
Jump in quickly while you're loading up the pictures. Viz said, what other characters would you like to see in the Spider-Man animated series? I'm not sure, really. I'm not sure. I'd like to see a Morbius. I'd like to see a Punisher. I'd like to see a Spider Slayer. Just some of those kind of real deep dive kind of characters.
I think it'd be cool to see old Mysterio in that kind of thing with a cell-shaded helmet type thing. That would look pretty awesome.
Yeah, we had a couple of Mysterios recently, though. I think if I was able to cherry pick, I'd like him to use the VHS line as a way of getting figures that we couldn't or haven't had yet. That's what I'd like him to do. I don't want to see another Green Goblin. I don't want to see another Chameleon. Chameleon maybe because of the change in his outfit, but I don't want to see all those reissued figures. I want to see new ones that we have.
Spider Slayer.
Yeah, because there are so many characters in the animated series that are perfect for that VHS line that wouldn't fit anywhere else. So like their version of Blade from the animated series was different to the comics at the time.
Yeah.
After they did the animated series, they made Blade look like that in the comics with the jacket with the spikes. That was like on cartoon first, I believe. Same with Morbius. He looked very different in the cartoon because they couldn't have him as a vampire. They had to have the suction cups. Yeah. So that again, it's so iconic to the series. And Madam Web, I wish they would make a Madam Web.
I think that's coming.
That'd be cool.
I think we'll get a Madam Web at some point, but yeah, cool. Right, let's hear yours. Let's hear your 3. Sorrell.
Coming in at number 3.
Oh.
So this was the Page Punchers by McFarlane's DC Multiverse line and Constantine, because I'd never had a Constantine until this. There was that one that came out with the DC Icons line, I think it was, but it was so hard to come by when the TV series and that came out. You just couldn't get it for love of money. So when this came out, it was just the perfect, version of him.
And the spell as well. That's cool.
Yeah, he come with the accessory piece. He come with the book. The only thing he didn't come with was a cigarette.
Smoking
kills, yes. But that was the whole point, because it wasn't he dying of cancer in the comic books.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It was like dying of emphysema or something, wasn't it? But yeah.
On a Constantine note, have you heard that Keanu Reeves is in potential talks of doing Constantine 2?
He's coming back. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But
there yeah, that's a pick. I like that. I like the look of Constantine.
He was a great figure this year. I hope they continue that line and give us Zatanna and stuff like that, and like some more of the sort of magical characters, if you will.
Dark Justice.
Yep. Yes. Now, number 2 should come as no surprise. Elvira, NECA figure. She was amazing. It had to be done. I just hope that we get a re-release in the future that they give us the red couch. I think if she'd have come as a deluxe figure with the red couch, that would have been more iconic. because everyone everywhere is trying to find dollhouse couches that look like it now. If NECA would just give us I know NECA are good at doing those like accessory packs, like they've just done all the Universal Monsters, and now you can get like the Mummy's Coffin and things like that. So even if they just released it as an accessory pack, they could get away with that. But yeah, Elvira, it looked just like her. It were a perfect figure this year. I loved it. And I bet.
Can I have a guess at your
Go on.
Is it missing a head?
That was gonna be my guess.
Is it?
Because you mentioned it a lot, didn't they?
Hey!
Oppa!
It was my figure of the year. It was the most expensive figure I've ever bought in my life. I'm not really one to buy high-end figures, so I spent quite a lot of money on that one, and it did not disappoint. I know a lot of people say there's a lot of reuse, but I'm very new to Mythic Legions, so I don't see any of that. I just saw a headless horseman with a kick-ass looking horse, and it was well worth the money. Well worth the money.
Yeah.
That is a
Of course
bitchin'
it's,
Yeah, I regret not picking up the Santa at Christmas, though. I'm not going to lie. I regret that now.
yeah.
Because that is going to be a hard to find figure in the future, because the Krampus came, and Krampus is beautiful as well. So this is a toy line I'm definitely getting behind in the new year. Well, now. I will start getting more of these on my shelf.
Yeah. That's an awesome bit, awesome figure. Yeah, that's some good that really is some good threes. All right, so we've got just under 10 minutes before we round the show up. So let's just very quickly talk about 3 kind of big like WTF moments of 2022. Ryan, do the first one.
Batgirl being cancelled. So annoyed still. So angry about it.
Yeah.
Batgirl just being cancelled out the blue for a tax write-off. What an absolute dick punch to the face. Like, what the hell? Like, unnecessary. It didn't need to happen. It angered me so much. It was basically done. And it was nonsensical. And like I said, Ezra Dickbag Miller keeps going around making fucking lives worse. They haven't cancelled that because they've spent like 280 million, but they've already spent 90 million on Batgirl. It's just like people wanted it, and we're at the time of the Renaissance as well. People would have gone to see it just to see Brendan Fraser in it. Like, why angered me so much.
So many cool things about it. So many cool things about it that just looked like, just
Keaton as well.
Just looked so good.
Those pictures they've shown off recently of Keaton in the batsuit.
Oh, I know.
It's so good. It looks so good.
Of the fight in the training, all that kind of stuff. It was, but
just what the fuck moment. So, but also amazing. I've lost the. What's going on here?
Go.
Okay, yes, amazing show.
It's a good job we love Mick. We're a fan of Mick here on the show. So, Mick, you do you, mate. You just do you, and you do you. Absolutely fine.
I mean, it's all right, but sorry.
All right, so the next big one for me, 2022. I'm a Marvel fan. I've been a Marvel Legends fan for a long time, and I think the big sort of WTF moment for me this year was the HasLab. Like, there's no two ways about it. Both the kind of the marketing strategy of the HasLab and how it came out, the tiers that were attached to it, the community's reaction to it. But the thing that really got me was the way that people were so vocal, and the communities and the influencers and content creators and anybody with a Facebook account was just really vocal about, what they thought of it and all that kind of stuff, and just how it massively plummeted and just whatnot. So it's just, for me, a massive WTF moment. I expected something really positive, and we got something really negative. So yeah, that was it for me.
Yeah, I could see that. That was shocking. Like, and I think the thing is, it was every week we were on here, and it was watching it unfold a bit more and a bit more and a bit more, just finding out what the next direction is. Yeah. It just did not go down well at all.
No,
which is a massive shame, because by the end, once they unveiled all the tiers, it was a decent offering for the price. It's just they should have come out with that from the very beginning, or the price should have been lower at the beginning. It was a good layout of stuff, and do you know what? If they'd have come out from the word go and said that money gets you all this, I would probably have backed, because all those characters monster characters that I want in my collection. They're all from the darker side of Marvel, which I collect. I would have
Yeah.
bought them. But the
Yeah.
fact that they were doing it very, I don't know. I don't like when they do it the way they did it. Like, it's a bonus. It's not, though, is it? It's included in the price.
Yeah.
So
Just quickly, Joby
Something
one,
to
what
know.
do you think of the selfie series? Why on it? We have not got it over here in the UK. The UK, they have not offered it to us as part of their offering. But my personal thoughts is it looks a little bit trash.
I haven't
I'm
seen many
yet,
great ones yet.
no, I'm
Oh,
yet
no.
to see one where I'm like, that's amazing, that's the right person.
If only one of us were going to America in a week's time and sent a scan into Hasbro Pulse.
Did
Who
you?
could that be?
Have you done it?
I've done it.
Yeah, but look, see, I have a figure. I have a custom one of somebody did me a custom one, and my resin print looks better than all of the selfie series I've seen. And I think the reason being is that
Looks pretty good. The details wise, they've got the likeness of me pretty well. But that's my one.
But yeah, I think good concept. I think that unfortunately, by the time we get it over here in the UK, I think they would have tweaked it enough for it to be better. And I kind of feel bad for everyone that's kind of jumps on it straight away, because I think that the offering that they'll give in a little while will be better than the offering they gave initially.
Yeah.
My thinking. So then, last sort of WTF moment of the year. Sorry, didn't read the notes, so.
But I can. But my big moment of the year that was kind of like, why are they doing this? I know it's bad to pick on Hasbro again, but the windowless packaging I think was a big part of this year, and played into a lot of collectors, especially Star Wars more than Marvel. I think Marvel kind of a lot more people in the Marvel universe unbox, whereas Star Wars box collectors through and through. And when they started announcing the new windowless boxes, a lot of people jumped off the line.
Yeah, just quickly on that note, these ones, it works fine.
Yeah,
I'm cool with that. Nice big bit of artwork on the front, windowless packaging. But then when you get these ones, where the render on the front is different than the figure inside, with like the pinless joints and stuff like that, I think that's bad. And that's regardless of your opinion on plastic savings and all that kind of stuff and the environmental reasons they've done it, taking that argument out of context, I think the bad thing about it is that they've edited some of the images, and those images have been used as promotion images, and that's where I think it's a little bit bad.
For me, what I feel like it's not really much to do with the environment and more to do with the marketing side of it, because they now know that collectors want window packaging and you're willing to pay for it. So therefore, everything is now going to be either a deluxe or a retro card back, and so they can charge you more for the product. And I think that's the way, because if you've noticed, this year alone, have you looked, there's only been about four actual waves of Marvel Legends. The rest of this year has been deluxes, and retro card backs and box sets.
Yeah,
I think that is the new way to go, because in the box sets they're all in window packaging and stuff like that, and they're all in nice fancy boxes and things. So I think that's kind of the way they're going. They seem to be doing the very similar thing with Star Wars now. More and more of these gaming greats getting pumped out, and more of the publishing series are getting pumped out now, rather than the regular waves.
Would you guys be okay with, so in Transformers they kept the windows in the box, but they took the plastic out, so you can actually touch the figure. It is very hard to get them out without being, without obviously, breaking the packaging. So it's not like a thing where someone could just swap the packet easily. But would that be a fair compromise for you guys to have the window but not have the plastic on it?
Imagine all the McDonald's chips you're trying in your figures from kids picking them up on the shelf.
Mate, I have bought quite a few Transformers and I've not had that problem. They've been fry-free.
Fry-free.
They have been fry-free. To be honest, I've just not had a lot of bad problems with them. And the Transformer ones, Transformers fans in general, we've just not seemed to have had a problem with it. And it's a good compromise, because you can see the figure rather than you said, just a picture of a promo image of a figure. You can actually physically see the figure. So it's just been good. One or two of them had not good paint apps, so I was I didn't pick that one up. I picked up another one off the shelf. So it was kind of a good middle ground.
So the last sort of WTF moment of the year before we do round the show up has to be DC. has to be the James Gunn kind of takeover. Only because I think it was one of them things that with everything that he did with Peacemaker, with Suicide Squad, with Guardians of the Galaxy, everyone was kind of like, yeah, this is good. This is positive. Like, DC are back. Like, you know, and then he just started dropping people. Like, it was, you know, and I don't think anyone saw it coming. And I think that's what makes it like a real WTF.
Especially after the Black Adam post-credit scene. I think it wouldn't have been. I think it wouldn't have been as much if you didn't have that, because that was such a big deal.
Yeah.
But weeks before, like literally like 2 weeks before the big news of Ezra being dropped, I think if it hadn't have been in there, then I think it would have been less of a shock.
But it's almost like he had like sent the memo and like to his assistant. Did you send the memo out to Henry Cavill? Yeah, and it's kind of still in the fax machine. Yeah. And then he Instagram post and everything, and then he's like, okay, we're just gonna have to let them shoot that and then mop it up afterwards. Yeah, I just thought it was a real gut punch, but I think that I have faith. I think James Gunn will know what he's doing, and I think he's going to bring DC back a lot stronger.
I agree.
I think that 2023 onwards, we're going to see something very different. Which I
almost want to get the Flash and Aquaman out of the way now. Weirdly, I know it sounds stupid, but I agree. My initial reaction was like, "What the hell is he doing?" But then actually, when I thought about it, I was like, "No, think about what he's made, what he's done. He's probably gone rather than trying to weave everything into what's already out there. Let's just start again. Let's just get a good plan ahead of us. Let's get a long plan, stick to it." Because otherwise it will fall into the category of like the sequel Star Wars trilogy, where there's no real story and it's sort of like, oh, what we're doing here, and then, oh well, it kind of was that guy from that film, but it's not. And I think it's better just to cut ties and just, because I mean, Batman's sort of like, it's still its own on its own thing, you know, that kind of stuff. But I think it's better to let's just start again, and also get Jason Momoa as Lobo, and then we can all be happy.
But I said they might go down a completely different road and decide not to bother with Batman, Superman in it initially, and go down the route of like what Guardians did, use characters people are aware of but aren't overly familiar with their stories.
I agree.
Tell those stories. So characters like Lobo, yeah, they're fan favorites, but not a lot of people know Lobo's story. They just know who he is because he looks cool. But if they
Blue Beetle's still on the slate to come out though, isn't it? Because that's post-production Blue Beetle.
Yeah, it's still coming.
So that could be, you know, because that's so independent, that might have nothing to do with these. That might be the first in the new stuff. Who knows?
And the fact that it's the kid from Cobra Kai and he's young enough to carry it. So, I mean, they could keep him on quite easily in this new universe.
Look at James Gunn and look what he's done. So, Guardians of the Galaxy, when that came out, it was a very unknown in pop culture who Guardians were. And now they're now one of the strongest parts of the franchise. Yeah. Suicide Squad had a really awful film using a lot of popular characters, and he grabbed a load of like Polka Dot Man, you know what I mean? Yeah. Polka Dot Man's in there,
string,
like Weasel and stuff like that. So literally grabbed all of these characters that people didn't know and made them all very lovable and people all really excited about them. Peacemaker, John Cena as Peacemaker, a character that nobody would have ever kind of.
I'd never heard of him before, if I'm being honest.
I hadn't before that. Kind of like there will be people that will probably be familiar with the history of that character, but he wasn't a pop culture character. Became one of the strongest characters for DC at the time of his show. So I think what James Gunn's plan is probably to do is to grab these lower key not unknown as such, but I think you'd much sooner see like a Poison Ivy film than a Batwoman film. Do you know what I mean? You would much sooner see kind of the B-list kind of characters than the big ones. But there we go. So that's just my thinking. So yeah, so there we go. So that is the Geek Week in Review year of 2022 kind of roundup show, done and dusted, I think.
The Geek Year in Review.
The Geek Year in Review, if you would like. So we will be back next week, live streaming once again. We are back on schedule. We are live streaming. All three of us in the chat. Oh, Brian.
Yes, I know. Brand new year. After it's my other half's birthday, to be fair. So I think it's a fair. Who, by the way, for Christmas got me tickets to go see Ryan Reynolds and his one night only O2 show this year. So which it's risky for her, because if he looks at me in the audience and goes, "Let's get this on," then me and my partner had a good run, and I'll be living with Ryan Reynolds forever. But you know, the intention was there with the gift. But I am so excited. But yes, I won't be here next week. Sorry, guys.
That's
Everyone
fine.
the viewers will double. So
Yeah. So we're gonna look at maybe grabbing an extra special guest for next week. We don't know just yet. But we are back. We are back now on a weekly basis. We had Christmas Day off, and that was it. We are now back. So, as always, links on geekweekinreview.co.uk. You can check out all of our social medias. Give us a follow over there, depending on what social media platform you use, be it YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, wherever it is you go. If we've got a social media account, it's linked up on that website, and you can give us a
Instagram,
follow.
unless you're Mick.
That's it, mixed for Instagram, but yeah. But that's it. So thank you very much. Thanks very much for tuning in and coming back. We do hope that you've had an amazing Christmas and holiday period, and you all have a very positive 2023 laid out ahead of you. Thank you very much for everyone in the comments tonight. It's been a lot of fun. There's been a lot of chat. Joby1, appreciate that very much. I hope to catch you next week. And one of the interesting things that we are looking at doing in this year that may be of interest to people is we're going to start spotlighting some extra guests. So if you want to jump on as an actual talking guest, we might be dropping you a DM. So we're going to put in a few.
Don't tell
people.
Mick that. Jesus, don't put that out public.
we would need the biggest censor button ever.
We are
I'm joking, Mick. I'm joking.
You need the sleeper button.
We'll get Mick in on the show where we want to get cancelled. It's just it's like the final show. But no, we are. We're going to be looking at getting a lot more guests in. So we're going to try to get people on. So yeah, drop us DMs or whatever on social media. Have a chat with us if it's something you'd be interested in. Awesome. Anyway, that is us for the week. We do appreciate you very, very much. I'm going to try to do it without Ryan getting in there, but thank you very much for all your support throughout 2022, and we look forward to seeing you in 2023.
He cut you off before you could even...